my first question is, what is the main point of your installation for Roca, the sparkling change?
Well, the main topic was to tell the story of the innovation from the company, and I think was related to the way they producing their product. And I think this innovation of using electrical killing, I think you say, and we're using also renewable energy is a sign of a company really want to go in the direction of sustainability. And what keeping me very clear was the most important part of the process is the controlling the temperature.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm sketching this in the beginning. Say, this controlling the temperature is very important, and the sketch is translating afterward in this installation. Is made by this curve from cold to hot and to cold. But the curve is also a way to showing as a sort of an architecture, is embracing people. At the same time, we're explaining how much important the immateriality, temperature is so important that for the result of the quality of the product.
Yeah, in a lot of disciplines, I think, because also with the glass, also with, the ceramics.
If you don't control temperature, you can't get the best product.
Yeah.
So I think the Roca is controlling and really making so detailing on that. And I thought it was nice to create, instead of something maybe, only extravaganza elements, but deeply on the goal of the company. So and then for people, maybe they don't know this is the temperature, but we're explaining, the process. And also it's a welcoming place because you can sit, it is a many place that people can sit, and welcoming people. And then we can have a chance and show it something nice, but in the same time it is something to welcoming people. So I think this was the ideas of this installation.
I know that you were also mentioned that it is based also on traditional as well as modernity, and today I think using a tunnel furnace and such activities are kind of dialogue between them. So in a way that certain solutions are intended to help also the environment, because you said about the zero emission and so on and so on. Could you stress some points about it?
Yeah. So I think if I had something to the installation, it's made by clay, but half is a clay, virgin clay, and half is a recycling material from the process. Also this showing then the future of material will be more related to recuperating a recycling material and give a new life. This process, combining with reducing the impact of electricity by using energy, clean energy, is the right direction for, especially on the building construction. And what I'm saying always is we have a goal in the next 30 years, at least as European, to reducing the impact of 85% of emissions. But what I'm saying then, we did, before the Industrial Revolution, we did many building cities with no energy, So maybe we need to thinking again, not to do what we did in the past, but maybe the knowledge, how people was able to relate it to climate, and do better buildings. So I think today we have knowledge, we have computers, simulations, digital, everything. So it will be much easier for us to understand what is around us, and then using this information to make a better building, using less energy and less technology. So that's for me is the direction of the work. So new materials and more attention to the environment, creating a new friendship with nature.
Yeah, and I think that with this topic we can, skip to your project that they are connecting with revitalization, because you do a lot of this. In Poland we also do this, and in this kind of projects I see that architects are trying to, leave as much, the things that they are there as possible. And do your perspective is similar?
Well, that's depending where, but I think this is certainly part of the building we can recuperating, like using a definition like intensity of use. So we need to use more intense our building, not only demolish and rebuild. And then connection between reusing material and adding maybe another layers of contemporary moment. A new material is okay. It's a good balance. In the same time, there are many buildings you cannot really recuperate. Something you need to be demolished and rebuilt. But rebuild now is much easier because we have more regulation. We can rebuild a more efficient building. The point is that the existing building, especially as Europe after the Second War, we built so much, and a lot of buildings are not very good quality in terms of performance. A sort of a poverty in buildings, building poverty, not just quality. So I think there are two ways. One is recuperating, adding new layers to make more performance and maybe also give a more beauty on buildings, and then be sure that sometimes we need to really demolish and rebuild. But rebuild, maybe we can use in part of this material. So I think the circle is very important because the idea, I think, in the future is using less primary material, so reducing the impact in the environment, and using less energy to be more independent. So I always say this independency is also about the peace, because if we are more independent, we don't need to make a green diplomacy or looking for relation with other countries. So I think that is the European direction, be more independent.
Yeah, sure. And I think that maybe it's a controversial question, but sustainable development is, in Poland, really hot topic, and it appears in every debate, in every, things that you've got on stage or something like this. And do you think that there is a moment that we should stress it all over again, or it should be, maybe something that is not natural, now natural here? What do you think about, this discourse now?
Well, I think there's a lot of debate, which is good, because that is not happened 10 years ago. So now there's a lot of people discussing. I think we are still in the level of ambitions, that it's much easier to talk than to do it.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, but I agree.
There's a lot of talking, but I think it is the first step of a change. So I know it's easy to talk and everybody has solutions, but then building construction industry is not so easy to change. And developer, they need to change and set their mind, maybe thinking to do a little bit less profit, more attention to material and quality of buildings. And environmental strategy sometimes looks a little bit more expensive. So I think it's a moment, and it's good, and we are talking. Ambitions are very high. Now the second step is to translate this ambition in reality, which is we need to change the culture of people. That's more difficult.
The culture and the law, I think, sometimes.
The cultures and from companies. Architects are not ready, because the architects, they're all talking, but it's about knowledge, it's about tools. You need to know more about the physics of buildings. You need more integration with engineering. So I think the wave of last century is still very strong. I think the new generation of architects, so the young generation, they are much more aware about this issue. And I think the role of my office, as other office, is to help also the new generation to see it's possible to make the change. Also by do some buildings. You're showing also to the public opinion, you can really do a good buildings, high performance, good quality, not too costing too much, but solving this environmental issue. So I think do example is very important in buildings. Because people can see, oh, it's possible to do it. I can do it myself. So
and we also said that architecture should, help people, not be, a problem. For example, in a public debate or something like this, what is going on with this building? Sometimes changing the building is a problem for people because, oh my God, it's under construction now and now and now. Yeah. So it is about, changing some perspectives.
Yeah, you need to change perspective, and also I think something we're missing in this period of time is the vision of long term. So why we do that? Why we do now? Maybe now it's difficult, but we do now for the next generation. We do now to make better time in the next 10 years. So we live in a time then the present time is too present. I think we need to talk about the future, not only the present, and go to the future is a little bit a journey. So we need to all agree there will be a journey, and then there are change, there are some difficulties. Always in this kind of a moment of the humanity is always difficult because people don't like to change.
Yeah,
They're
they
very
don't like
confident.
it, but because they are scared of something that they don't know it. Yeah.
Yeah, but the role of politicians is this: is explaining why, why we need to change, and the role of architect explaining that we need to change it for the good reason. But I think the most important thing is also listen people. Sometimes everybody talking too much, but nobody really listen. Why people is worried? You need to listen to the worries, and then maybe you can able to explain why. If the people understand, because it's a revolution that we all do together. It's only me and you and all the people. They do little steps, and we all go in this direction. But we need to tell people why and which are the direction. That's the point.
So maybe it will be a good time to ask you about the research techniques that you are using in your projects, because knowing the needs, knowing who will be the beneficient of some of the projects, as well as you have a lot of social projects in your portfolio, because from schools, libraries, and churches and so on. So what is about your research?
Well, research is one of the fundamental part of our work in an architects, because also knowledge is changed very quick. So I always thought it was very good to have people who do research, also the innovation. There happens so many things in the world, so you need to know. But also to give a layers of complexity to your work. It's not only about the artistic point of view, which is very important. It's not only about aesthetic, but also the way you design a building, so the contents of a building, and like why you do a building. And this kind of a research is about material, about performance, about what is the innovation, what is the reference, what we look in the history. So I think the research unit help us to give a very good direction on the project, and also analyze data, climate data, because with the climate data, can be a creative opportunity to know how's the climate in your place and what is the direction of the sun, the wind, the weather, how much rain it will be, and using much you can the natural resource, and then adding technology, which is of course very important.
Okay, and my last question, because the time is up, so I would like you to ask, what are you dreaming? What are you dreaming about?
Well, a dream, be an architect is a dreaming activity, because we always dream something that doesn't exist yet. Buildings take a long time. Buildings, everything you do between the design, approval, building construction, it takes always 5, 10 years. So sometimes it's too long. So I like to dream the next building. I always like the next, because I think is a journey on the future, not be an architect, and then it's a very exciting, difficult but very exciting. So I'm always dreaming to make better buildings, and also design buildings that make people happy.
Yeah.
That's the key point. I don't design building for myself. I design building for the others, and then I think that is a social responsibility of an architect.
Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you very much. It's nice to talk to you.
Thanks.